Okay, hello. So today's video will be how I learned Japanese. Okay, so I had a head start, but even if I had a head start, my Japanese still sucks. So, of course, I went to, not of course, but I studied Japanese at university, and even if I studied it for 3 years and came here, I still couldn't speak it. Yeah, so that shows how stupid I am, maybe. So the real way I actually learned. So for the first 11 years ago, the first year, I couldn't really speak it, even though I studied. So I think the best way I learned was I bought every One Piece comic book from One. So around 11 or so years ago, I started off with the One Piece first book. And the reason because I'm very bad at reading, I'm very bad at studying. I'm extremely low IQ, so I need some cute or fun or an adventurous way to learn Japanese. And the One Piece manga was awesome from the start. So I read One Piece manga in Japanese, and then I had one of those little dictionaries that you can translate. Back in the day, some of the boomers out here, or the millennials, you can translate the little dictionary. So I started off with One Piece comics, from comic number 1 to comic 63. And the thing is, you won't understand most of it at the start. You won't understand most of it, but very, very step by step. My English is garbage today. But step by step, you'll see little patterns in it. And then when you see the patterns, when you hear people talk, you hear them speak like a comic book character. I hope this makes sense, because if you watch anime, you don't actually, how can I say, you don't actually know what they're saying, and you can't slow down what they're saying. And if you slow it down, it's not enjoyable. Well, with a comic book, you can read each text and then check what each text means, or you can skip over. So I would read each comic book maybe once a week. So the best way for me was to read manga. And then once you read the manga, okay, this is a technique I used, is you read the manga, and because I was teaching English at the time, I didn't have so much opportunity to speak Japanese. So I would read the manga, then after reading the manga, I would go to bars and clubs, and I would just go out, and I would just use that Japanese in public, which is very bad, because if you read manga and you speak like a manga character, you sound like a weirdo. But it's okay, because I'm a weirdo. I'm a strange guy, so it's okay. So let's make this simple. Read a manga and then speak the way they write in the manga. I hope that makes sense. So that's the second way, is read manga, use it in real life. Whatever word you learned, try to use it once in that week. That's the basic technique. And when you go out, don't go out to foreign majority places. Like, go out to places where you know no one can speak English. This will force you to speak Japanese, which is always fun. Another one is live in a share house rather than living alone or living with your foreign friends, because in a share house you'd come across, of course you come across foreigners who speak English, but you also come across a lot of foreigners who can't speak English, and so you're forced to speak Japanese every day with them. So share house is really good for that, especially share houses with no foreigners, or very little foreigners, or how can I say, mostly non-English speakers. Okay, and then once you work in a company, that's when you really jump in terms of learning Japanese. But with my case, my big jump was also doing sales in Japanese. This also comes into being a freelancer. When you're a freelancer, you're basically selling to Japanese companies or Japanese CTOs, Japanese managers. And the reason, even if I can probably get easier work from New Zealand companies or Australian or American, I don't want to stop learning or stop speaking Japanese. So working together with Japanese companies always helps you to keep your Japanese up. And even just in Slack or the documentation would all be in Japanese. It is tough, but I think if it's all in English, I kind of feel, of course it's easier, but why am I here if I'm just here to speak English and drink? I don't know. So I hope that gave you some understanding of how I learned Japanese, because really I've never really studied, I didn't really study it. I can't study stuff, I just have to do it and learn while doing it. Same as coding. I hate reading books, I just want to do it and find out myself. Hopefully that helps you, and sorry for my low budget videos. If any questions, ask in the comment section, and I'll see you when I see you. A message from our sponsor, me. So if you like Japan and you're an engineer, or if you're in Japan or outside Japan, or you want to come to Japan and engineering, and you want to just increase your connections in Japan, how many times have I said Japan? I'm starting my own service. There's a link in the description. It's called Devipo, development, and Ippo meaning step. It's your first step to make a connection in Japan. And there's a link there with a form. If you fill it out, it will help me a lot to connect you with foreign developers with Japan. So fill it out, and if you don't like it, you can delete the form by selecting delete, and I'll delete it for you. Basically, to simplify it, every Monday these forms are sent to companies. The companies can request a friend request on LinkedIn, and then from there it's all up to you. You can maybe freelance with them, maybe you're a student, maybe you're already working in Japan and you want to just make some connections for possible freelancing. So give it a try and help me out, and I'll help you out.